What is going on, everyone? My name is Boit and I am back with some more Age Mythology, the Titans action, spawning in the top of the map in the blue color, playing as Hades. He's from the UCA clan and his name is Domantas. His opponent today is in the red color, playing as Zeus. His name is ThreeEyedOdin. The map is Anatolia, and this is a best of 5 for the Bill Gregg Open round of 32 $1,000 tournament. ThreeEyedOdin just made it through, like by the skin of his teeth, just made it through the first round of this tournament, taking his win, 3-2 against I Am Mythology. And I believe Domantas completely swept his game. So we'll see who comes out ahead in this game. Domantas has been known as a really strong team game player. He plays in the RTSL for UCA and always does extremely well. And ThreeEyedOdin is a very talented Nilla player, or the original game, where you play without auto queue, you play without shooting docks, without free myth units from your temple, and without the Atlantean civilization. And he's also a random Nilla god player. So he plays Greek, Egyptian, and Norse very, very well. As opposed to Domantas, who is a pure Titans player who plays the Greek gods really, really well. So the map's Anatolia. What we've been seeing on these maps generally is 18 or 21 pop fish advance times, and going for like 5-minute advance, 5:30 advance times for those 21 fish or 18 fish, depending on if your opponent gets there or not, because you have 9 fish each, which is 18 fish, and then you might be able to steal 3 of your opponent's fish if you're fast enough. So that's what we've been seeing, and then after that we're seeing a little bit of boat pressure into either fast second town center or fast heroic with the Skylar or something like that. Sigmas are asking, who is Red? Red is ThreeEyedOdin. He's also known as Ori or No Mercy. Many different names, but his Titan name is ThreeEyedOdin. We are seeing that second dock coming up now for ThreeEyedOdin. This is perfect. You put 7 villages, or we put 6 villages. Normally you put 7 villages onto wood here, and then you send your next villager over onto this dock, and you start putting it up, and then you start pumping villagers onto the wood. We're seeing a little bit of variation here on ThreeEyedOdin's build, but it's not going to matter too much. It's basically all the same thing. And our Hades player over here, he's building up a second longhouse really early. That's, I guess it is efficient because he picked a really terrible wood to start with. Should have probably chucked it up here or here, have more surface area to deal with this storehouse. This house is kind of preventing this tree from being chopped down. This tree here is making this tree inefficient. So I can understand the second storehouse, but he probably should have thought about that beforehand. And that's going to slow down his fish just a little bit, which might mean that ThreeEyedOdin might be able to take some of his fish up here, but I'm not sure where the third pool of fish is, whether it's around here in the fog or here. If it's here, you can't have a better spawn. 3 fish, and 3 fish. Really close to the first dock. Yeah, well, that's that. We've got the temple now coming up for ThreeEyedOdin, and the temple coming up for Domantas as well. I'm assuming we're going to see Athena from both people. Might be a good idea to go Hermes just so that you can ceasefire if Domantas goes for a sneaky land attack, in case you're not ready for it. But generally speaking, restoration is so strong in these mirror matches. It's not a mirror matchup because it's not Zeus versus Zeus, but it's Greek versus Greek, and their armies are basically the same. So any advantage you have in a fight means you get a significant advantage if you win that fight, and that's what restoration does. It wins you a fight, but you can always use ceasefire when the restoration goes down and allow yourself to repopulate your army that's been injured, kind of thing. We're seeing the fishing ships stop here for ThreeEyedOdin, whereas Domantas is still pumping these out. He's trying to get all these fish out, and we are going to be seeing an advance fairly soon, I'm assuming. Yeah, there's the Athena for our Hades player Domantas. He's got the villager on the temple as well. Needs to get that favor for the Chiron and all that other good stuff. And we're seeing, oh, there's the Hermes for for Three-Eyed Odin. I feel like he's just a touch late here on this advance. It's fine. It doesn't matter if you're late in Anatolia, because your opponent has to run all the way over here with his ships, and then he gets greeted with dock fire from all your fishing ships. So it's not the worst thing if you advance. As long as you're up before the 6 minutes, you don't take too much pressure. I've also got 2 villages on the favor here. This could indicate to me either he is getting favor for the Skylar, or he's going to try and get out some Hippocon to do some land aggression while the, not Hippocon, Centaur, while he's attacking Domantas here, while on the water. If you can get those Centaur out, and it puts some pressure on here. It's really hard for Hades to deal with Centaur because they only have one ranged hero, and he has to be in multiple places at once. Now we're seeing Domantas grab this early second town center. Got the Hermes coming through for Three-Eyed Odin, and he is pumping out Trireme straight away. He's going to be putting the pressure onto the fish. But if you look at this right here, this is not going to do much damage at all. So long as Domantas can get out some Trireme, he's going to be totally fine. This town center is going to get up. There's an Ajax already here to defend against this Centaur. Ooh, the scout's distracting though, so this is going to be good for Three-Eyed Odin. He may be able to get a villager pick off here. Really sneaky play there with the Catastropus. And now the Trireme's getting greeted by the blue Trireme here. So that's going to be pushed back very, very fast. And ChronoJJ is here. If he wants to join in on the cast, he can definitely come for the next game. I didn't realize he'd be awake. He said he wouldn't be. And Domantas is getting a little bit housed here because this town center is not coming up in time, but should be okay. Thank you so much for the host there, Nakamura RTS. Appreciate that one, my friend. He's an extremely good deathmatch player and really a good proponent for the community. So if you have not heard of him or seen his stuff, definitely go and check out his channel. He does some really good content for the deathmatch community. Sure. So the armory is coming up for Three-Eyed Odin. If we check out his resources, he's got, oh, there you go. He's got so much food in the bank. So he's going to go through Dionysus, and this is going to allow him to secure the water extremely easily. It's going to be an 8-minute and 20-second advance time here for Three-Eyed Odin. And then he's going to be able to just punish this water. And there is no defense for this as Hades, because you don't have access to your own Dionysus. Hades' heroic age gods are Aphrodite and Apollo. So there's no Dionysus there. And that's just going to mean that the Skylar completely run over what Hades has got. And it should be, technically speaking, if Three-Eyed Odin plays this right, it's going to be the entire water for Three-Eyed Odin. So he's going to have the exceptional fish boom. However, the actual counter for this for Domantas is if he sees the Dionysus, it's to grab this third town center straight away and then take off villagers from wood and chuck them onto these boars, chuck them onto the hunt, chuck them onto to farms and stuff, and start booming as hard as you can, because you need to catch up with the lost fish. Because we're going to see these not Domantas, these Skylar coming out fairly soon. And here they are coming, and he has the free one as well. Going to push through this very, very fast. Domantas is building maybe too many Trireme here. It's not going to work for him. As soon as they get 3 Skylar, these Trireme are just going to melt. No matter how good your micro is, Three-Eyed Odin's micro is very good himself. So if you start pulling back the Skylar, you're going to be in a really punishing position here. So I think, yeah, Domantas just needs to grab this town center at this point. But it looks like he's going to be going for his own heroic age. He's got the armory up. He's going to go through Aphrodite. Maybe the other option here is to to throw up military buildings and go for a gold starve here. If you can get out a bunch of those Toxotes, it's going to be it's going to be very, very good for him. But here we go. We're seeing this Skylar come in and just destroy these. As soon as they get a second head, they start doing exceptional amounts of damage. And they just have to kill a couple of these. Oh, it looks like he's actually being pushed back here. But now the Juggernauts are coming out. And we're seeing a little bit of fighting on this top side. But it looks like Three-Eyed Odin doesn't care so much about that top side. Just wants to control the bottom one. Now we've got archery range and military coming up. Three-Eyed Odin's got his own second town center. So he should be able to catch back up on the economy fairly soon. He does have, well, I mean, he is going to be slightly behind because the villagers have been pumping from this town center for just a little bit longer, but because of the fishing ships, it doesn't matter all too much. And now we've got Scarlet on this top side as well, so this is going to really hurt Domantas, but Domantas has gone through the power gauge through Aphrodite, so now he's going to have access to these Pentacontas to deal with the Skylar, and they do have a good amount of damage. And not only that, Domantas has got all of these triremes that he can turn into heavy. If we check out his perspective, has he queued that one up? He has got Heroic Fleet, which gives him bonus damage versus myth units, but no heavy triremes. Those are so good. You get so much extra HP, so much extra damage. It is literally like getting medium upgrades and heavy upgrades for your trireme based on how much stats you get. Yeah, but now we see Domantas is starting to push out these Hapaspists, and that's somehow he knew that this is kind of what ThreeEyedOdin was doing. Somehow he knew that the military academies is all that ThreeEyedOdin has. So he's going to have a really strong push here. He should be able to move in here and destroy some of these hoplites and this Hydra here with the Ajax. Maybe if he gets out his Achilles as well, he should make a really strong push on this gold mine. But now we've got the archery ranges coming up for ThreeEyedOdin. A little bit of a stalemate on the water. We're seeing that the Pentacontas have pushed out and stopped this pressure. So looking like a stalemate on the water, and now we've got the bolt coming down on that Nemean line. Really smart move there. And now we're seeing the curse come down. This is really, really good. And there is the ceasefire. Got the 3 town centers for ThreeEyedOdin and 3 town center now coming up for Domantas. This one is going to help him out, and he's going to be able to transition into this water fairly soon. If we check out the population, it's 130 pop to 111 pop for ThreeEyedOdin. Looks like he was trying to gear up for the mythic gauge here, but he's not going to be able to make it straight away. He's going to have to actually get out a bunch of military buildings in order to defend against this. He does have Heracles out, which is going to be a big help in this fight here. If we check out what's going on over here, we've got some more archery ranges for Domantas, but really not that many military buildings, but he is sitting at the max population until he gets out 4 to 5 town centers in that 3rd town center, in which case he's going to need to get the extra units out, which he isn't queuing just yet, which he kind of needs to. Maybe he should be thinking about getting out of this location here. There's so many units for ThreeEyedOdin, really flooding this. We can't actually get these units out. They're getting path blocked by the pigs and all the other units. Really nice play there. Fortress coming up for Domantas, but ThreeEyedOdin is on top of this one. He's coming in straight away. The village is already on top of this gold mine here. The heavy infantry is through, and that's going to be really difficult for Domantas to deal with. He's also throwing up his own fortress. Bunch of units coming in. The villagers come off the gold mine onto that fortress here and try and get it up. If it does get up, this gold mine should be pretty well secured. Bronze comes down a little bit early, not getting all of them, but that's going to force the villagers off this fortress, and ThreeEyedOdin is going to be able to control this position here. And if we look at the gold mines, controlling this position is basically a game if we can then move over onto this side. But we are seeing Domantas is looking to grab this one. He's got the storehouse queued up to build there. So if he can get his fortress up while this attack's going down on this side of the map, maybe he should be okay. How's his army looking? He has a lot of resources in the bank, so he can get this army going, and he does have a little bit of gold left, 1,000 gold left in this gold mine, and he's moving for this gold mine. So I think he should be okay. We do see ThreeEyedOdin is moving over onto this location just to check it and make sure there's no gold miners there, and that's going to be huge. Now we're seeing sentry towers getting thrown up just to secure this location, but unfortunately ThreeEyedOdin is not committing to this. If he committed to this one, it would be detrimental to Domantas' odds of winning this game. Then we go Sentinels is coming down to combat this. Got the Petropolis out as well. That's going to help him push through this. It's going to be a long time to push through these Hades buildings, though. They do have 25% extra building hit points, which means they stay alive for quite a while here. Now the Petropolis is going to be sieging down this military academy, and everything else is going to be defended. Now we've got the small attack coming in here. Centaur, a couple of Toxotes, and the heavy hoplites to push off this gold mine. The villagers are choosing to fight at this point, probably the correct idea here, but he probably should have been, he had the time to get up a fortress or some towers in this location, but now we're seeing this moving forward here. The army of Domantas has to retreat back into the town center. It's the right idea. This town center does a lot of damage with a 20.40 attack. The sentinel does get picked off by the Petropolis though, and these sentry towers are coming up. Where's the watchtowers? You need to have that up. There we go. Watchtowers comes through, dealing so much of that damage now, and he's going to be controlling this position really, really nicely. More hoplite, move it in here and stopping this gold mine. I feel like it wouldn't be a bad idea now that the watchtowers are up to just send all of these Toxotes over to this location here and just destroy that. Because he doesn't need to defend here anymore. He's got the fortress, he's got the 3 watchtowers, almost 4, or starting on the 4th, and there's no, well, there it's a fortress up now, but that gives him time to move over and stop this gold mine. As the villagers are sort of idle there as well, but just going to be chilling in this location for now. ThreeEyedOdin not close to that next stage just yet, and same with Domantas. We're just flooding units here at this point. It does look like his water has been pushed off as the Pentacont is attacking this top side as well, but at this point, with 3 town centers pumping villages, you really do not need to have water. It's actually almost inefficient. The Artemis is actually coming through for Domantas here, whereas ThreeEyedOdin is not even close. So this earthquake is probably going to come down on this position just to give Domantas some breathing room here. He should be able to push forward, but now we've got the fortress coming up. Got some heavy Toxotes here to pick off these villagers. Artemis has come through. I'm sure we're going to see that earthquake come down here. Yep, picks off every single one of those watchtowers. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 watchtowers, which is 1,500 resources of damage. Not going to be able to pick off this fortress, unfortunately. It's on the edge of this earthquake, and it's just not going to do the most possible damage you can do there. And the town center getting repaired. Looks like we're trying to make a push back here, but now we've got another fortress up. Got no gold mines for Domantas here. Domantas also doesn't really have a trade route set up. He started it. It's kind of going, but with no gold income at all. It's only 10 of those gold mining trade routing caravans, and it's going to be difficult. But there is the Chimera out, and with only Odysseus out, this Chimera is going to stay alive for quite a while with the 60% pierce armor. I'm clicking off the screen for some reason. We do have also got the Toxotes sitting in the trade route, making these donkey caravans idle. They do get 54 gold per trip. It's quite a bit that you're making idle if you can. Now I've got the Heliopolis coming into this location. Going to take out this fortress. And then we're probably going to see these villagers move forward onto this gold mine as Domantas is sitting very low on the gold count, but high on the population count. So he's okay to continue here. And Domantas is actually looking like he's in a bit of a winning position, though. His trade route is going down. The market gets deleted there as well, as he's trying to keep these donkey caravans alive while the units are sitting in his trade route. Now the villagers are on top of this large gold mine here. ThreeEyedOdin is going through Hephaestus. Going to be able to get his plenty vault. He's a little bit low on the favor in order to get Forge of Olympus. I think you need 35 favor in the Titans to get that one in order to make your armory upgrades really, really cheap. Check out, he's got a bit of bronze on him, and if we check out Domantas here, he's also got a bit of bronze, but it's gonna really tilt into ThreeEyedOdin's favor once Forge of Olympus comes through. We're seeing the Juggernauts picking off the fish of Domantas as well, but it shouldn't matter too much. Like I said, once you've got 3 town centers this far into the game, you really don't need the fish. It's better to just get out villages and max villages with a trade route for the efficiency. Those fishing ships stop being efficient once you get like irrigation, I think. And there's the Plenty Vault, comes down. That's going to bolster ThreeEyedOdin's economy even more. Got the Achilles here distracting some fire. Well, not distracting some fire, getting completely decimated. Now the Chimera does fall down, but there are Heliopoli here. These tank so much damage, and they really allow the Toxotes to destroy. But there's not enough army here for Domantas at this point. He's going to have to get out of there. And it does look like he is struggling a little bit on the military buildings. Only has like 5 up at the moment, and he's going to need more than that. Now the Colossi, or the Colossus, I should say, is going to be coming in to assist with the tanking and the building destruction. And we're seeing a fortress coming up. Oh, no, that's ThreeEyedOdin. I thought that was Domantas's there, but that's okay. He's going to be all right with this one. And now we have the heavy Toxotes of both players in the fray here. Should be seeing champion soon. ThreeEyedOdin has some idols he needs to deal with. Actually got 9 idols here. Domantas, on the other hand, with 0. ThreeEyedOdin getting a little bit distracted. He's going to be sorting those out fairly soon. As we are retreating and trying to work out this. He's got a lot of resources in the bank, and there's the Forge of Olympus, I think. Yep, it's going to be coming down. It takes 45 seconds to build, and then you start getting the armory upgrades. So if Domantas' economy is in a decent position, which it's not in a bad position, it shouldn't matter so much. He should be throwing up his 3 armories of stealth and starting to get his own upgrades. If you can get to bronze upgrades by the time that ThreeEyedOdin gets to iron upgrades, you should be able to squeeze out those iron upgrades and not feel so bad about not being Hephaestus. But Plenty Vault does swing the economy into the favor of ThreeEyedOdin, and I feel like that Earthquake has not done enough damage. It managed to keep him in the game, so it was important, but it did not do enough damage to really give himself the advantage here, as we're seeing the champion Toxotes come through, and villagers as well. Feels like trying to pick off those Heliopoli with some extra villagers, maybe too much population in villages, so just trying to kill those ones off while trying to take out the Heliopoli here. Heracles also going to be able to finish off this Heliopoli here. I'm not sure why ThreeEyedOdin's not microing this this Heliopolis into the front here. Sorry about that one. We had a fake panic attack where my phone popped up and was like, "You have a rehearsal. What are you doing casting Age Mythology games?" In my real life, I am a musician, and being late to things is pretty detrimental to one's career because people stop hiring me for things. So I played fast through the rest of the game on stream, so I'm just going to fix it up now, finish casting this game. We've got ThreeEyedOdin moving in here. He's got these champion hoplites, and they've got, they still only have bronze upgrades, but I'm sure that he is working on those. I was almost sure he's working on those upgrades, these iron upgrades, those bronze upgrades, those copper upgrades. And we are trying to push through here. And we do have the Heliopoli focusing down each other. This is what you want to be doing. They do a lot of damage to each other, but it's not going to be helping too much. You've got the watchtowers moving in. We've also got ThreeEyedOdin. He's kind of controlling this corner, which is really, really important when it comes to the trade route, because Domantas, he's only got gold gathering from here, and this is going to spell disaster for Domantas if he loses this position here. And we've also got ThreeEyedOdin. He's got his own trade route starting to be set up as well, so his economy is going to get even more strong. We're basically just going for champion Toxotes and Heliopoli with the heroes for both players, which doesn't seem efficient at all. You want to be getting a couple of melee units to deal with your opponent's Heliopoli. Alas, this is not what's happening, and then we're probably going to be seeing this push continuing onto this fortress here. It may be time to delete some of these water units as well, just so you can get a bit more population to play with. The watchtowers are going to move forward as well. Military Academy pumping through, getting those hoplite out. That's what we want to see. And are we now seeing those upgrades? Yeah, now we're seeing the upgrades. They come out so fast. Iron shields, iron mail, and the copper, or is this, yeah, and the bronze weapons, and then he's going to follow up with the iron weapons, and his army's going to be so strong compared to what Domantas has. Wow, he's actually following pretty well. He's got his own bronze weapons out as well, so he should be okay here in terms of army trade. He is going to have to somehow get access to 1,500 resources at some point to get the rest of his iron upgrades, but if he can keep this fortress up and keep this gold mining operation going, he should be okay. He doesn't have his market trade route set up here. This isn't actually awful. What's it looking like? Oh, it's 38, so it's like 20 resources less than he otherwise would have had, but it comes in a little bit faster because it's a little bit closer. But if ThreeEyedOdin realizes this, he can just get a Juggernaut out and start taking that one down. We're still seeing this push come down. The fortress has fallen, and now Bellerophon comes out yet again, and he's going to be jumping in and trying to deal that damage. We're seeing him trying to micro around and dodge those arrows as well, because he does have that 5.5 speed bonus, and it can just take down these Heliopoli. And there we go. Domantas taps out. GG. Looks like he just did not have the resources to compete with Hephaestus, which is a big thing. This Plenty Vault is a small bonus, but for a huge amount of time. So as opposed to Earthquake, which is a huge bonus for a very short amount of time. So if you can win the game with Earthquake, it's better to go Artemis. If you don't win the game with Earthquake, it's better to go Hephaestus here. And I feel like Had Domantas thrown up his fortress in this position as soon as he got here, he would have been able to secure this trade route as well as secure this gold mine. He wouldn't have had to go Artemis. He would have had Plentyvault. He would have had Forge of Olympus. He would have been in a really good position to defend this position here, because he was in the Mythic Age before 3-eyed Odin, so he'd start getting that Plentyvault going beforehand. And he would have probably... I mean, I don't know. He might not have won, but he would have been in a better position to fight here instead of slowly dying. Anyways, that's 1-0 for 3-eyed Odin in this best of 5. So he has to win 3 games or 2 more to take this series. Domantas is going to have to win 3 more. We'll move on to the next recorded game very soon. Thanks for hanging out with me. If you're not already following, I'd love a follow and all of that other good things. And y'all's next game coming soon.